folks, back after a short break there. Just posting real quick that I'm reopening this live stream so I can do a first print with the Hemera. Sorry about that. So I had a problem there. The fan shroud clearance was not great. We're going to have to work on that a little bit. I think I'll talk to James Tung, who designed the shroud for us, see if we can't model in just a tiny bit more clearance there. I mean, even a 0.5 millimeter would do wonders for us. So I found a shim that fit just right. So I'm going to do a paper test real quick, just to verify my height, and then we'll be ready to go. So for the paper test, I'm just going to move down to Z0. Well, not quite to Z0. Slide a sheet of paper in. And just jog down until that grips. There it is. Let's see. I have a macro I use to set the Z probe height after I've probed. So I'm at 2.350. I'm going to run my bed leveling routine. The magic of the RailCore bed leveling. Hey, what's up? Hopefully this will go pretty quick here, and I'll be printing in a second. No real adjustment needed, but good to be sure. Let's see what it said. 0.036 millimeters of adjustment. Something. Hold my Z-axis real quick. There we go. So, sorry, replying to a quick message here. Yeah, I turn up the speeds from the defaults. I should mention that more often, probably. All the defaults are very slow on purpose. Everything, like the hot end fan is in the always on port. The homing speeds are slow. It's safe. Accelerations are lower in the default config. It's to be safe so that you're less likely to break things when you're first printing and building the printer. Turn things up afterwards. That's fine. But yeah, I have one that moves ridiculously fast. Here, let me show you guys. This is the one. This is the homing speed on this one. So you can see that bed traveling pretty good on there. And then when I auto level, so you can, there's definitely room to speed things up from the defaults. My aluminum one, I haven't actually turned up all that much yet. A little, but not that much. So feel free to turn them up. Just do it once you know they're working well. So yeah. Okay. So yeah, this aluminum printer is ridiculous. And for those who haven't seen it, I have to show off. Other than the temporary wiring I have from this this install here, I really did took my time on the wiring, made it look pretty nice, I think. So anyway, yeah, there's my aluminum beast, and I'm still dialing it in. Sadly, it's not quite 100% yet, but I think the Hemera will probably improve that. Hopefully you guys can see fairly well there. I think you got to view the whole bed. The Pi drives the Duet 3. That's a Duet 3 board. Okay, so I think I'm ready to print. So I need to, I didn't really select a file to print. That's why I have something on here. I'm sure I do. So we'll put that up to 60. Keep the hot end up to 200. And the Z hot. No, the Hemera cooling fan is not in the always-on pins. It is running now. It is a very quiet fan. I'm happy with that. We'll use this one. It's been a nice color to print. I'm not sure how the tensioner and stuff work on the Hemera yet, so that's going to be something to learn here. Sorry, I'm trying to get the camera adjusted so you guys can see what's going on. I assume that's a tensioner adjustment. Well, I'll feed some filament through. Hopefully it's feeding the right direction. It's been posted on Facebook a few times for how to switch your fan over. It's pretty straightforward. And there are guides on the duet forums as well. Yeah, we can definitely help you with that though. Let's see here. Up to 200, so I wonder if I needed to switch the direction. I'm gonna find out. Screwed. I don't know if it's pulling or pushing. I need to switch the direction, I think. Try that. Let's see if I can feel what it does. Yeah, it's pushing it back instead of pulling it in. Easily done. So that's N569. On mine is P5 for the extruder, and S1 to reverse it. So that's reversed. Now let's pull on the filament in. Piece of cake. So just out of curiosity, I'm feeding 10 millimeters at a time. At 30 millimeters, it started extruding. So that gives you a range for how far through the hot end you've got to get it to extrude filament. 30 millimeters from the point it grabbed the filament until it started extruding out the nozzle, and it was probably more like 25. So that's cool. I'm ready to print. Got that little tail there. All right, what should I print here? I've had a print job I've been printing a lot of, actually in this color. I think it's on here. Yeah. So I'm going to print this. It's a little box for a board game card. It takes about a half hour to print, but should make for a good first test print. So move the camera up. Hopefully you guys can see. Everything's reversed, mirrored, so it's goofing me up. Well, that didn't look good. Am I printing too high? What's going on? Okay, so that's not good. Oh, what's that? I know why. Hey, you know what? I should probably change my steps per millimeter. Let me just clean all of that filament off of there. Hey, Michael, how's it going? I have a little filament build up to clean off here. And also, I was printing too high. I'm not sure why I was printing so high. Kind of good it was, though, because that would have made a real mess. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was just so much filament it couldn't do anything with it. Okay, so note to self, change the steps per millimeter. So my 25 millimeters earlier was wrong. It's probably more like 50. System. Before I forget, I'm going to reverse that stepper motor permanently. I'm going to find my steps per millimeter. I'm going to change my extruder. What is the default for the Hemera? Tim, do you know offhand? Tim on here? It doesn't look like Tim joined. Let's see if I can find it in your documentation real quick. Firmware modifications. $409. So I just need to change my steps per millimeter from 819 The word 409. I'll probably dial that in at some point just to be sure. Um, but for now, the default should be good. That. And I'm going to print that job again now. It will be extruding far less filament, which will be a good thing. The thing I'm not sure of is my Z height. Could be off. It seemed like it was, but I'm going to try it anyway and see what I get, and I can adjust. So, take 2. I am way high. Why did that? How am I 2 millimeters high? Something ain't right. Oh, I know why. I know what I did. I rehomed Z, and I did not adjust my E31 value before I did. So, make that edit. The fun of live streams, guys. Everything. Okay, so. Rehome Z. Yeah, don't pay attention to the totally not working RailCore in the background. That I stole a lot of parts for to make this one work. Let's grab some filament off of the nozzle here. Get that nice and cleanish. It's not clean for sure. I really made a mess of it already. Rookie mistakes on my part. So that happened because I had homed it and had it all set, and then I re-leveled after that one last time. So, all right, I'm confident this time it's going to be good. When's it print? There we go. Of course, you guys probably can't see that at all. Well, let's land on filament. So, I have a Hemera. It's working. Yay! What is that? That's a 60 millimeter a second first layer. You guys got to work on these. That's a 60 first layer, and I think the rest of the print's like 100, something like that. And yeah, Gecko Tech hot on a first layer is fine. Just to show, here's the, well, it's on the outline right now, but hopefully you can see. I don't know if you can see that monitor at all. There we go. So 60 millimeter a second first layer. Yeah, you probably couldn't read that at all. I tried. No, it says it's 60C. This one I still have some tuning to do. For whatever reason, I can't travel over 350 millimeters a second in X without occasionally dropping steps, and it should go faster. So I got to work on that. I mean, this thing should easily exceed that speed for travel moves. So I got to figure out what's going on there. Otherwise, it's going really well. It picks up some harmonics because it's all aluminum. Like when the lead screws turn, it'll kind of squeal sometimes. Not squeal. It has a harmonic vibration to it. It's not like lack of grease or anything. It's just literally the whole thing is vibrating. It's a big musical instrument. At certain speeds, the whole body kind of hums. So I did put it on these cork and rubber pads, and that's helped that a lot. But yeah, part of the fun of an all aluminum one. The other thing I found, it rattles itself apart over time. So it actually, the bolts will back out from a little vibration. So I got to fix that at some point. And you can hear at certain speeds it gets loud, and it's just the harmonics of it. It's not the linear rails. I mean, the linear rails are silent. When it's just moving, I don't hear that. It's just certain speeds, the whole printer rattles. No. So the printed Y carriage will not work for the Hemera. Now you can do a fully printed Hemera mount. Wade released the printed mount today for the Hemera. You pair that with the printed belt retainer mount that I had originally modeled to go with the aluminum hot end mount, and you would have an all printed solution that will work with the Hemera, but it does not use any of the stock Y components. The mounting holes for the Hemera are completely different. So yeah, you'd have to reprint the parts Wade released today along with the printed belt retainer, and you'd be all set. And Wade, I think you linked to the belt retainer from the Thingiverse page, right? And yeah, then you're going to want to print those in like a carbon fiber PETG, a carbon fiber polycarbonate, ABS or ASA, or something crazy like my protector, something insane. But yeah, you want to print those in something really rigid and good. Oh, sorry. Yeah, the printer's a little loud and you're closer to it than me. I was just saying, I think you linked to the printed belt retainer too, because you're going to need those as well as the printed Hemera mount. they go together. So this is all Masumi rails. This printer has all the goodies on it, including several that are only on this. And my favorite new addition, I showed this in the earlier live stream, but I'll show it again for those that weren't here, is honestly this rep box. There's my rep box. And then I just have PTFE. It's a 3mm inside diameter PTFE coming out of it, a little tape to keep it from sliding out, and straight into the hot end. So I can just switch which one I want pretty quickly. And leave them in there all the time. I've got more PTFE I got to order. Whoops. Yeah, that was brittle from sticking out. But yeah, I love the rep box. It's a nice arrangement to have it right above the printer like that. And Pooch is a great guy, so happy to help him out too. But yeah, so I have two more Hemera. And they're going to go on the tool changer, which is currently functioning as my webcam mount. I think that's what webcam is now. So yeah, I'm gonna add two Hemera to the tool changer next. Is the goal. And I'll have two V6s and two Hemera then, and that'll be pretty cool. This is a 0.2 layer height. For 0.4 nozzle, it's the nozzle X on the Hemera. 0.4. So it's doing fine at that height and speed. Let's turn it up. We can go faster. No, these are just little boxes for cards. So nothing crazy in detail here. So now we're laying down some plastic. Oh, I didn't turn up the nozzle heat at all there. This is 140. The nozzle temp is at 215 C. Let me verify if it's actually moving 140. Nope, it's moving at 125. I probably have it limited to a printing speed of 125. So this is 125 millimeter second print speed. 115C or 215C nozzle temp. I usually print PLA pretty hot. I print PLA between 210 and 220. Depends on the filament. This one I'll actually turn up a lot of times because it's silky, and silky stuff seems to like hotter temps. But it's printing good at 215, so I'll leave it there. Yeah, I like to print PLA a little hot and just use a little extra fan. If anything, you get a little bit of that cotton candy stuff and it just burns right off. So far the Hemera, I mean, 125 millimeters a second. I'm not seeing any obvious artifacts or anything. It put down a 60 millimeter a second first layer like a champ. So far so good. I'd give it a passing grade at this point. The install was easy. The build was easy. Dead simple to put together, that's for sure. It'll be interesting to see how it comes apart if I ever get a jam, because I didn't have to assemble anything. I'll probably have to take one of the other two apart just to check and see how it looks inside. Yeah, so I really like the Delta cooling fans. I have one like what's in the kits, but the Delta is just quieter for similar airflow. And I use the Jamestown shroud. And I can hit it pretty good with the fan. This is only going 50% for this print. This print didn't need a lot of cooling. But I can hit PLA 100% with the fan on this and not overcool it, as long as I'm printing at like 215, 220, and pretty quick. But then I never print below 80 millimeters a second anymore. I can't remember the last print I had that was really anywhere below that. So yeah, if you're hitting it with that much fan, you got to be moving so you don't overcool it. I actually have a new cooling solution to test, air pump, that was recommended to me by Brendan at Earth. I gotta come up with some way to control the airflow, and then I'll probably use his duct or make one. And we'll see how cooling my prints with an air pump works, what kind of speed I can get out of it. So that'll be fun. The stock fan shroud cools heavily, but only from one side, and it hits the nozzle pretty hard. If you use the stock shroud, I would switch to using the full E3D sock that covers down, so it's like 99% of the hot end is covered, rather than the regular one that leaves most of the nozzle open. That'll help a lot with that one. Yeah, I went a little overboard with this printer. I built it as a show printer for Earth. So it's got the aluminum panels with some customizations to them. I'll give a quick tour of it while it prints here. So I'm going to move the camera around. Don't get seasick. So the printer has some customizations like a carrying handle in the back panel, as it is for carrying to shows. These bolts in the bottom panel are for the power supply, so the power supply is underneath it. This has no couplers, you can see on the stepper motors. They're LBO steppers with integrated lead screws. I had the right side panel here tapped in a grid. So these are all M3 tapped holes, which meant I could mount the electronics however I wanted to. And if I ever switch the electronics, I don't have to worry about the holes needing to be retapped. And then it's got the Duet and the Raspberry Pi there. So the power cables run down underneath, and then the AC power. And then I had the front panel milled with vent holes for 240 millimeter fans that blow cooling air across the Pi and the Duet. So it was a fun build. I'm very fortunate to get to build things like that now. Temps are staying nice and stable on this. I'm not seeing a lot of fluctuation. Goes down to about 214.5 or so every once in a while. So probably a little PID tuning would stabilize it a little bit more, but it's looking pretty good. I did not PID tune with the fan on earlier or a sock on, so I knew it would be a little iffy, but it's a start. So I'll have this printer at Murph in the spring. Murph this year is going to be April. If any of you guys are going to be there, definitely come chat. It'll be fun to chat and hang out. This is printing really nice. I mean, the top surface quality of these prints for 125 millimeters a second is really, really sharp. I think I might be over extruding just a touch. But I didn't dial that in at all either. For extrusion calibration from here, I usually print a 2-wall cube and measure the wall thickness and make sure it matches up. So a little bit of tuning to do, but that's normal. For untuned though, it's really printing great. This is looking very sharp. You know, I left it at 0.7 millimeters of retraction for this print because it's an old slice. I don't know what the recommended retraction is for this. That's a good question. See if they have any slicing guidelines. I'm looking at their how-to guides here to see. I don't see anything, so I'm not sure if 0.7 is too much. I mean, 0.7 isn't pulling it out of the heat break. It's probably more than it needs. And I can test with lowering it, but it's not gonna pull molten filament up past the break because the break's over 1 millimeter long. Yeah, it's funny. I don't really sit and watch them print too often anymore unless I'm testing a change. It's definitely printing nice. And I have like 40 of these little boxes I just printed with the V6, so I'll be able to compare and see if I can see any notable differences in like wall stacking or anything like that. But so far, Hemera's printing like a champ. It's for a game called Descent that I just picked up, and I'm addicted to buying expansions for now. And the class cards fit in these little boxes. try and get a close up here of it printing for you. I mean, those are some pretty layers going on. Working that up. Trying to block the light so you guys get a little bit better view of the printing. Alan, as far as the Hemera to the Mosquito, I mean, it's kind of apples and oranges because the Mosquito does not have an extruder built in, right? So the Mosquito is going to be paired with a Bondtech or a Titan or some other extruder, where the Hemera, the point of the Hemera is your hot end and extruder, really one big unit. So not quite a comparison. The Mosquito, I love for printing high temp filaments. I had some challenges with PLA, and I need to work on that, but that I think was just my settings, especially around cooling. So printed PLA fine, it just didn't look quite as good as my V6 PLA prints. And unfortunately, I had to take some printers apart, and the printer the Mosquito goes on is the one in the background right there that is missing some components right now, like a bed. So once I get a new bed for that and put it back together, I'll get back to testing the Mosquito more. But really not a comparison between the Mosquito and the Hemera. They're two very different products made for very different purposes. Hopefully that helps. If your plan is to print mostly things that are ABS temps and above, the Mosquito I think is a very good choice. If your intent is to print a lot of PLA and PETG and only occasionally print hotter, I think that's more the E3D's domain. That's just my personal experience and opinion. Where the Hemera comes into play is if you're printing TPU. I've seen people printing TPU on the Hemera at 80 millimeters a second. That's unmatched on anything. End of story. Any sort of flexibles, I think you're foolish not to have a Hemera at this point. If you're not printing flexibles, the Hemera is still a solid idea. I mean, I need to wait and see how it pans out here on this one. I'll be even more excited when they go to the pancake stepper and reduce the size of this thing, which Sanjay has said they're working on. Yeah, I mean, really apples and oranges between the Hemera and the Mosquito. Other than the loss of Y, this may be a better overall solution than the E3D V6, and might be a smarter default, even if you're not printing flexibles, if the quality is better. And you know, I can't really tell yet. I do expect more ringing. There's a little more mass, but that can be dialed out with acceleration tuning. So yeah, Sarah, I talked to Jason at LDO. He said they could do lead screws integrated into the steppers. So he sent me some to test and see what we thought about them for the RailCore. They work fine. I obviously like them. I have them on my kind of premium printer here. The problem with them, and the reason I didn't feel we should default to them for the kits or anything, is the installation is a real major pain. Um, I don't know if you've built a RailCore, but to install the lead screws on a RailCore, since you have the coupler, you can put everything on. You can have the stepper on the bottom, you can have the yoke on, and then you just drop the lead screw down through the yoke, put it into the coupler, and bolt it on. And you have the and a backlash nut on, so you're just bolting it together. But you've already threaded that and a backlash nut on. So I'm done. That printed pretty quick for this print. That's hot. That's okay. Cool that down a little. So with the integrated lead screws, you have to have the yoke on, trap the yoke so it doesn't fall, insert the lead screw from the bottom up through the yoke, bolt it on, and then take the anti-backlash nut, thread it down on the lead screw, and then bolt it into the yoke from the bottom, with it all kind of in place. It was terribly awkward, very fiddly, very hard to line everything up, and I didn't want to recommend that as a way to go. So certainly something you can do. I'm sure Jason would make them if you ask. This is why I love Gecko Tech, by the way. Comes off clean. Good stuff. So those all peeled right off, and I'm ready to print again. Get back on. Okay, so how'd we do? Let's go over here where there's a little less glare. So these are my prints. Don't know if you guys can see that. So yeah, the integrated lead screws, okay, but pain to install. If you've built a RailCore before, you won't have too much challenge with it. They're just fiddly. Parts came out like you would expect, a little tiny bit of under extrusion on the top surface. The camera's not going to focus on that. This is a Logitech C920 webcam. It's not going to catch that, but just a little dialing in to do on the extrusion rate. Otherwise, solid prints. So cool. We'll call it a success. I'm curious on the wall quality. I don't see excessive ringing on this print. This is not a great print to test for ringing, but I don't see signs of ringing. I don't see any notable layer variation. I don't see any, none of the obvious big problems that can crop up. The wall quality is honestly really nice on these, especially for 125 millimeter second PLA. Trying to get it in the bad light here, and really, that's some pretty solid wall quality overall. I'll take it. I'm trying to clean up a little of the PLA I got all over the nozzle earlier. That was my own fault. Adjust your steps per millimeter. That's the lesson there. Hemera is this new E3D hot end. It's a hot end and extruder. They were calling it the Hermes. Let me move in X here. we go. So the Hemera is this entire stepper, the extruder, and the fan, along with the hot end heat block. It's a successor to the Titan Aero, if you're familiar with those. Hold what up to the camera again, the print. There's one of the prints. A little bit of under extrusion. You can see a little light through on the one corner there. That is real. Little wall gap going on from under extrusion, basically. A little more overlap would have dealt with that. Or slowing it down. I think I was just outrunning it a little bit. Outrunning the filament. Probably need to turn up the temp a little bit. I do like the Everflex, although I will say this room, the ambient temperature in here in the summer is about 24°C, 23°C. In the winter, it's about 19°C. And I've noticed the Everflex, my prints curl a little on the corners when it's below about 20°C in here, in PLA. So that's why I've been printing on the Gecko Tech lately, is depending on the print, the corners feel a little bit. This was sliced in, what was this sliced in? This was sliced in Prusa Slicer, actually. I'm very slicer agnostic these days. I used to be S3D only, but since S3D now crashes my PC when I slice with it, unless I turn off hardware acceleration, which makes it stupid slow, I've been playing with Prusa Slicer and Cura a lot more. So yeah, the Hemera was called Hermes. It's now the Hemera due to a trademark dispute. But it's, yeah, this unit here bolted onto a RailCore and went great. I'm happy with this result. This is a nice print for 125mm a second print. That's a solid result. I would be hard pressed to say I would get that kind of result with most hot ends with zero tuning. That's solid. So cool. All right. What other questions? Anything else I can go over? RailCore related, Hemera related, Repbox. We've got a couple things coming on the RailCore that we're testing. The big one is tool changing. E3D has hopefully shipped our beta parts, our tool plates, and such. We have a team that we've chosen that will be beta testing tool changing on a RailCore. Obviously not this one. This one will be my Hemera one. Probably that one over that's assembled right now. But yeah, tool changing is coming very soon. So very excited about that. Confident we can make that work. We have a plan. We're working with some new people to the RailCore project as a whole. So that will be very cool. And we'll give more info on that later. So yeah, tool changing is a big one. I can give you as a spoiler. I will give you. I will say I have now 2 different mods to the Z-axis ordered. Parts have been ordered for to do some testing. Nothing that I want to say, it's going to work or explain what I'm testing yet, because I'm not ready to. But yeah, I've got 2 different Z-axis mods in progress. What else do we have going on? Steve is hard at work on the RailCore Mini, and that is nearing a completed state, I think. Getting ready for me to build one and document it, so that'll be awesome. It's a 115 millimeter-ish cube RailCore, so tiny, fits inside of this. You could almost print one on a RailCore 300 ZL. So I ended up, I found the stack of spacers. I had printed a whole bunch of spacers, and I found them, and I found one. I just measured each one, and I found one that was exactly the height I needed, so I used that, and it worked. We're gonna have to talk to James Tung and see if he can modify that shroud a little bit, and help that fit a little easier, because there's just not much room for adjustment right now. I'm trying to think what else Steve has going. I have some leveling washers I'm testing on here. I'll show you this from the side. So I have a rubber washer underneath, that faucet washer that we normally use underneath. I have one of those on top, and then in between are what are called leveling washers. It's two washers that are conical. Been testing those for a little while. Those are really promising. Probably not going to be a default, but something I'll post more about. Somebody actually posted it before me and tipped us off to them. So those are really cool, and have been working very well for me. This is the only one I have them on right now, but I'll probably put them on my others. It's been working great. What else? We always have more stuff going. Been talking to Jason at LBO a little bit about some ideas. Man, there's so much. Yeah, there are other projects. Not all things I'm ready to talk about yet, but yeah, lots going on. One of Steve's big tests, he's still playing with NEMA 23s, and he's been working with Jason at LBO on that. So hopefully some cool stuff to share there soon. Yeah, it's moving along. Tool changing is going to be the next big focus. We've got 6 of us on the team that are going to be testing those parts, and hopefully make some quick work of that one. E3D has really paved the road for us, and so we get to benefit from all of that work. And my experience personally with the tool changer has been very promising. So I expect good things out of the tool changing on the RailCore. We have some challenges with it, but overall I think it'll be a very rewarding endeavor to go down. Yeah, good stuff. I'll be posting more pictures on my Twitter feed. If you don't follow me on Twitter, it's at Kraegar, Kraegar. Follow me on there. I'll post some Hemera prints. I've got some TPU. Looking forward to printing that and seeing how that goes. Got some semi-flex. I'll see how that goes. Should be pretty cool to see those kind of results. And then I'll continue playing with PLA and see what I get from that. In PETG and other formats. Yeah, I love the print quality I get out of these. I'm extremely obsessive with improving my print quality, so I'm always playing and trying to push them forward. But yeah, it's fun. All right. Well, I think the questions have kind of died down, so I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks everybody for tuning in, hanging out while I got this running. Thanks to E3D for designing the Hemera. It's a cool product, and I'm looking forward to pushing it and seeing what I can do with it. So thanks a lot, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your evening.